Hello, grade 8s. Today we're going to do assignment number 15. And hallelujah, we're on to our last topic in this course. Okay, it's not the last lesson, but it's the last topic. The last thing we're going to learn about in this course is surface area. We're going to do it over 3 days. Today we're going to do the surface area of prisms. Next lesson, which will be 16, of course, assignment 16, will be surface area of cylinders. And then assignment number 17 will be tough surface area questions. Composite shapes, so hard, really, probably the hardest thing we've done all year. So what a way to end the year. All right, we better get right into it. This could be a long video. So what is surface area? Surface area is the total area of all the faces in a three-dimensional object. So maybe I should go back and review area, volume, and now we're doing surface area. So area was when you have a two-dimensional shape, right? You have a rectangle, 2 dimensions. And what area is the amount of space that this shape covers. Or I kind of think of it as the amount of cover that this shape has. Like if I put this flat shape down on the table, however much part of the table it covers, whatever amount, I can't speak, whatever amount of the table it covers, that's the area of that rectangle. Okay, when we get to volume, we're not talking about two-dimensional shapes, we're talking about three-dimensional shapes, right? Some kind of prism like this, let's say. And what we're talking about volume is if I was to fill this thing up, let's say I was going to fill it up with water, how much water could it hold if I filled this thing up with water? So you can think of it that way. How much liquid does it hold? The other way you can think of it is how much space does it take up in the world? Okay, and then the last thing which we're doing today is surface area. So again, it's three-dimensional, so I could think of that same rectangular prism. I know it looks a little different. And what we're talking about this time is how much the total area is of all the faces. So it's kind of like this time, instead of filling the thing out, what if you painted? What if I painted the outside of this face and the outside of this face and the outside of this face? Is that all of them? No, there's also one at the back I'd have to paint, and there's one on the bottom I'd have to paint, and there's one over here on the left side that you can't see. And if I painted all those faces, how much paint did I use? So it's the total area. This was area of a flat shape. This is the total area, so the area of all the flat faces. If you add them all up, you get surface area. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So let's get right into it. We're going to find the surface area of a cube, a rectangular prism, and a triangular prism. So first of all, the cube. Here's how I do this question. I ask myself, first of all, how many faces? How many faces are there that are the same size of each other? Well, okay, let's start with how many faces. Let's do it that way. How many faces does it have? Well, it has one at the front here. It has one at the back. It has one on the right. Has one on the left. Has one on the top. Has one on the bottom. It has 6 faces. Hope that makes sense. I mean, you can think of it like a die, right? How many faces does a die have? Hey, we did that during probability. It has 6. So we know it has 6 faces. Now my second question for you. How many of them are the same as each other, have the same size? Well, in a cube, which this is supposed to be a cube here, they're all the same. So we have 6 faces, all the same. Okay, well if we want to get the total area, can you think of what the strategy could be? How about we get the area of one face? I don't know, I'll get the area of the front. And once I have the area of the front, since I want to get the area of all the faces, and there's 6 of them, and they all have the same area, what am I going to do with my answer here when I get the area of the front? You're going to multiply by 6, aren't you? Alright, so let me explain it again. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to get the area of this face here, right at the front of the cube. We want the area of that. That's a square. You know what the formula is for the area of a square? Well, there's actually 2 formulas you could use. Most of you will probably use length times width. That's what I use too. If you're really fancy about it, you could also use side squared, remember. But let's just use length and width. Alright, so we needed 2 dimensions. We got the length here, which is 3, and we need this amount here. We don't know it, do we? Of course we do. It's a cube. What do you know about all of these? They're all 3 feet, 3 feet, 3 feet, 3 feet, 3 feet. Everything is 3 feet here. So if we want to get the area of this purple face here, it's 3 times 3. Oh, not bad at all. 3 times 3. The area of the front is 9. Now, we want to get the surface area though. So if this face, the purple one, has an area of 9, and there's 6 faces that all are exactly the same size, we just take our 9 and multiply it by 6 faces. I'll put 6 faces here because they're all the same, and you get 54. So you get 54 feet. Okay, now what should I put here? Is it going to be squared? Is it going to be cubed? Is it going to be the fourth? No, it's not going to be the fourth. We don't have any fourth dimensions shapes on this planet, in this universe even. It's area. That's your giveaway. We're talking about surface area. And remember, area was always squared. So that is our answer, 54 feet squared. Okay, let's do rectangular prism. How many faces does this have? This shape right here has how many faces? Well, in some ways it's very similar to a cube, isn't it? It has a front, a back, a top, a bottom, a left, a right. It has 6 faces. Now, which ones are the same? Okay, well, let's take a look at the front here. Which one's for sure going to be the same as the front? The one on the back. So we've got front and back the same. I mean, you don't have to write all this out for me when you're doing yours. I just want to make sure you understand it. Now, what people often do is they look at the top and they're like, yeah, it's the same too. Now, is it though? You got to be careful. I know it looks the same, but you got to be careful. What are the dimensions of the red one? The red one is 10 times 4. Okay, let's look at the top. What are the dimensions of this one here? Dimensions of this are 10 by 3. They're not the same. Okay, so we have the ones that are the same are the front and the back. The top is different, but the top is obviously the same as the bottom. And then the left and right are obviously different than the other ones. So we also have left and right. Now, they are all rectangles. So for each one of these, what you want to do is length times width. Okay, the area of the front. Area of the front. We just said it's length times width. And we also mentioned already, what are the dimensions of that rectangle? 10 times 4. So it's 10 times 4, which is 40. Now, that's just the front. Don't forget, there's also the back. So how many faces are there that have the same? There's 2 of them. So we're actually going to take our 40 and multiply it by 2, and we get 80. That 2 is because there's 2 faces that are exactly the same size as each other, the front and the back. Okay? Let's do the top bottom. So again, the area, I'll do the top. Length times width, because it's a rectangle. What are the dimensions? I think we already mentioned that too. This is 10, and this is 3. So we're going to go 10 times 3, which gives us 30. Are there any other faces the same? Yeah, we said top and bottom were the same, so we have to multiply that by 2 as well. We get 60. Left and right. Let's do the area of the right. So that's over here. So what are the dimensions? Well, this is 3. How much is this? Whoops. How much is this right here? Well, it's exactly the same as this over here. It's 4. So we got our 3 and we got our 4. So, sorry, it's length times width, of course. It's a rectangle. So it's 3 times 4. So it's 12. That was just for the right-hand side. Don't forget the left. It's exactly the same. We've got to multiply by 2. You get 24. Okay, so to get the total surface area, what do? We take all our faces, these two, and these two, and we add them up. So 80 plus 60 plus 24. And if you do that, you get 164. We're talking about inches, so it's going to be inches squared. So the first thing we need to figure out is, how many faces does this have? Okay, sorry, this is all lagging. We have the bottom face. We have 2 rectangles beside it, one here and one there, and then the 2 triangles. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 faces. Now, are any of them the same as each other? Okay, well, obviously the 2 triangles. So we have same 2 triangles. This is really annoying. We have the bottom. Is the bottom the same as the other rectangles? I think it is supposed to be an isosceles triangle, which means that this and this are the same. So when it says 7 there, this is also 7 here. Okay, so if we look at the bottom is 4 by 12. And if you look at the face on the side here, it's 7 by 12, as is that one there. So you have 2 rectangles the same, but then you have the one bottom rectangle is not the same. So I've spaced these out again. So let's start with this triangle right here. So remember what the area is of a triangle? It's base times height divided by 2. Okay, what's the base of the triangle? The base is 4. What's the height? It's not 7. It has to be from the top straight down. Where's that? That's over here. It's the 6. So our area is equal to 4 times 6 divided by 2. Now, if you think about it here, what you're going to do is you're going to get this answer, and then you're going to multiply it by 2. So you could actually cancel those 2's out. But I find this always gets people into big trouble. So I'm not going to do that this year. I'm actually going to get this answer. I go 4 times base times height divided by 2. 4 times 6 divided by 2. So that's 24 divided by 2 is 12. Now that's one triangle. How many triangles do we actually have? We have another one down here as well, right? So we have 2. We better multiply by 2 and get 24. Okay, let's do the two rectangles that are equal to each other. So that's that one and the one on the left back here. So that is a rectangle, which is length times width. What are the dimensions? 12 here, 7 there. So we have 12 times 7, which is 84. But wait a minute, we have 2 of them. We got to multiply by 2. We get 168. And then finally we have the bottom. So this rectangle here, it's a rectangle, so it's going to be length times width. And what are the dimensions? 4 this way, 12 that way. So equals 4 times 12, or 48. Multiply it by 2? Absolutely not. Look at, there's only one of those. Don't be multiplying by 2 automatically. You got to think about it. So now we have our 3 amounts that we can add together to get our surface area. The total surface area is equal to 24 plus 168 plus 48, and of course we all know that is 240, and we're looking at centimeters here, so we're done. If you understand, skip to the end and get the assignment. Otherwise, I'm going to do one more. So it's a triangular prism. How many faces does every triangular prism have? 2 triangles and 3 rectangles. So which ones are the same? We have 2 triangles, and then we have a rectangle on the bottom. So I've got the bottom rectangle. Is that the same as any of the other ones? The bottom one's 4 by 11. How much is this top one here? Not 4 by 11, it's 5 by 11. How about the rectangle down here? That's 3 by 11 or something. So no, none of them are equal. So we have to get the bottom rectangle, we have to get the top rectangle, and we have to get the, I guess, left rectangle. Okay, let's do this. So area of a triangle, base times height divided by 2. This triangle right here, what's the base? 4. What's the height? 3. So we're going 4 times 3 divided by 2. I know we're going to multiply by 2 and cancel the 2's, but I'm actually going to do it this year. 4 times 3 is 12, divided by 2 is 6. But remember, there's 2 triangles, there's a 1 back here, so we multiply it by 2 and get 12. Okay, let's get the bottom rectangle, this one right here. A rectangle is length times width. So the dimensions of this one are 4 by 11, and 4 times 11 is 44. Multiply by 2? No, remember all the rectangles are different, so that's all you can do for that one. Now we're doing the top. We're doing this one, here and here. So the dimensions are 11 and 5. So area is length times width because it's a rectangle. We're going to multiply, we said 11 and 5, which gives us 55. Do not multiply by 2, it's the only one. And finally, on the left, I'm going to erase all this so we can see it a little bit better. The one I'm talking about now is this one here. It's a rectangle, so it's going to be length times width. What are the dimensions? 3 by 11 again, right? Same as this. So 3 times 11, which is 33. Don't multiply by 2, there's only one of them. Okay, we add this, we add this, we add this, we add this, and we'll have our total surface area. So 12 plus 44 plus 55 plus 33 equals 144 centimeters squared. Okay, tough topic. I hope it's making sense. Now, I want to go right back to the start for a second and show you something. This. If there was ever an assignment that would be absolutely ridiculous for you to hand it in with no work, this is it. do not bother, okay? If you're just going to send me answers, do not send it to me. You got to show me some work. Look all the work I'm showing here. I'd love to give kudos to a few of the people in the class that are showing such incredible work, but I don't want to embarrass anyone. But you know who you are. Sit over by the window usually. There's 3 of you who give just the most amazing assignments, some of the best I've ever seen. So, way to go. All right, so assignment number 15. It's due Friday, June 5th. So I'm going to upload a worksheet onto Teams, and you are going to do number 1, A and B, and number 2, B, D, and F. And that's it. It's 5 total. I think it goes cube, rectangular prism, 2 triangular prisms, and then a composite one. See if you can figure that out. It's hard, but give it a shot. If you can't get F, then do 2A or 2C instead. So you got to get 5 of them done. But if you can get F, that'd be awesome. I'll be back soon. See ya.